Back when I was a kid, people never really thought about the natural environment. Personally, I never really thought about where all the concrete came from for our roads and buildings either. Quite a mystery. I guess when enough things started disappearing, like the redwoods in California or the kiwi here in New Zealand, people started to question these things. I read that when they studied air bubbles trapped in fossilised amber, they found there was 50% more oxygen on Earth way back when. Hope that doesn't disappear too. So they say the forests are the lungs of the world. But on one hand, we need bridges, roads, buildings, and on the other hand, we need the forest. So what do? Winstone's put a program in place that for every tree we remove to get aggregate to help build New Zealand, we would replace it with at least one native tree. We gather the seeds from Winstone's property when we can. We grow them in our nursery, and we only grow plants native to New Zealand. Let's see if I can get them all for you. Karamu, kahikatea, terari, tawa, huri, mahaui, kanuka, hebe, manuka, rimu, mountain totara, pura kauri, and the hardest ones to pronounce, cabbage tree, flax, and five fingers. This is a young pururi ready to go in. The pururi tree is also known as New Zealand mahogany and will grow up to 20 metres in length. If it falls down, we can leave it laying for 50 years before it starts to rot. Also neat is that it was a favourite home for the ghost moth, which had a wingspan of 15 centimetres. There used to be so many of them around, the European settlers used it for fence posts, railway sleepers, ships, houses, and furniture. Its wood was said to be equal to the best Italian or American walnut. By the 1940s, it had almost disappeared. I love the great outdoors. That's why I volunteered to help the experts with all the planting, and being a safety rep, I'm out there to keep the boys safe, especially when those big trucks are rolling by. Hey, I'm 63 years old, but on a good day, me and the guys can plant up to 1,000 native saplings. It's not just about digging a hole and putting a plant in and watch it grow. There's a real science to this project that we're doing. We clear out strips of gorse, leaving behind an alternative strip to give shade to the growing saplings. It's a never-ending cycle of cutting back gorse, planting, cutting back more gorse, and planting some more. It's mind-boggling. Three to 5 times a year, we check out the saplings to see how they're doing. We'll pull weeds by hand or spray them so the saplings can survive. So far, we've planted 90,000 trees, and we're going to plant for another 5 more years. Some, like the kahikatea, will grow to 55 metres high, helping to create a canopy forest and an unbroken habitat corridor for wildlife. The lungs of the world. These native trees, like the teruri and the pururi, are like entire universes. You'll find ferns climbing on them, orchids using them as their host, geckos eating the flowers, and the New Zealand bellbird nesting under the dead leaves. In the base, perhaps you'll find a paradise shell duck building its nest, and above them a red-crowned parakeet just forging away. Hey, and if we're in South Canterbury, we might find a long-tailed bat hiding out in those hollow branches. You'll find eating the berries or enjoying the nectar a tui or a cararoo, or if we're lucky, a stitchbird. Among the leaves and the bark, you'll find caterpillars, moths, beetles, watters, snails, and slugs.
The secret life of plants is very sweet, I reckon.
I think the secret life of the quarry is pretty special too. All these rocks building up our cities and our roads. You can have your cake and eat it too if you're acting responsibly.
Years down the road, this area will look just like it did before humans arrived. It feels like I'm leaving something special behind for the future generations to enjoy, and that I'm doing something good for New Zealand.